All right. Hello, everybody. We are officially live. It is July 11th, 2023, 9:22 a.m., and it's 7-Eleven. It's 7-Eleven. So if you go to a 7-Eleven near you, you'll get a free smoothie or slushie or whatever they give. But it's July 11th. And oh boy, are we having a market? Are we having a market? Ladies and gentlemen, stocks are up this morning. A lot. A lot. I didn't expect it to be this crazy, but stocks are up, and it's pretty wild to see how stocks are up as much as they are. Stathis, Rob Menard, Tess Cap, David, Joseph, Askel, good afternoon. Good afternoon to you. Ramu, Justin, Broccoli Bob, Philip Rizzo, Fernando, Ray. Thank you all for being here. Palantir in the pre-markets are $16.57. Let me open up these charts for you. We've got a raging pre-market. I have no idea if this is going to carry on into the market open, but I think the momentum is there for it to crush today, and it'd be a very nice day given what we're seeing. We've got Robinhood at $11.50. We've got Palantir at $16.56. I mean, you got SoFi inching near the $9 mark. It is pretty intense what we're seeing right now in some of these charts. $17 today. Yeah, I mean, look, there's a good chance we could get there. I mean, we could definitely get there. We could either we crash and it gets sold off, or the momentum keeps going. I think the momentum keeps going, and we get there. Enphase is 176 in the pre-markets. Robinhood, look at this. Robinhood is $11.50 in the pre-market. I mean, this is just Robinhood broke out to the $11 range yesterday, so now it's in the $11.50 range. And Robinhood's doing great. S&P at 440. It's been stuck between that 438 range for a long time. Now it's at 440. The interesting thing is, and we talked about this on Finance Junkies last night, big tech is down. Tesla's down. Meta is down. I mean, I would venture that Microsoft is down. Look at the red. All the red is these companies that are like actually amazing companies. Apple's barely up a little bit, right? Google is down. Oh, wow, 116 on Google. I don't know what's the catalyst driving Google down. Maybe it's my Twitter post where I was talking about them. But no, I mean, like, it looks like the market is really scared for earnings. But it's really contrasted because you got companies like C3AI. Did you see Carvana yesterday? I didn't know about this till the end of the day. This thing is up 1% in the pre-market. It's up 16% yesterday. This was a company that was about to go bankrupt a while ago. I mean, when you got Carvana up and Meta and Tesla down, I don't know. It's something. You should be a little weary about it, but the stocks that are actually good, that are also still growth stocks, are up, like Robinhood, Palantir, and SoFi. SoFi clearing in at $8.81, potentially will be $9 by the morning. So, yeah, man, it's not bad. Dude, the hat doesn't work with the dress cloths. It's okay. We'll make it work. We'll turn it into a style. Good morning, Jeremy. Thank you for being here. Good morning, Lenny. Good morning, Jared. Man, this is crazy. I didn't expect it to be this nice, this market. I didn't expect it to be, look, Palantir, when it went to 13 and 14 last week, I was buying a little bit of it, and I was just like, all right, like, we'll see what happens. I don't know what the catalyst is to get us here outside of the fact that CPI data is likely going to come in really good tomorrow. I also have to look up the bank estimates for what they think CPI is going to be. CPI estimates. Banks. I want to see what they think, because if they think it's going to be good, then yeah, it's going to be a good morning. I mean, it's going to be a good CPI, and market's going to play. I think the market might be baking it in, so maybe it doesn't get huge from that. But I think what most banks are seeing is 3.2 to 3.1, something like that. Oh yeah, look at this. Here we go. Let me share the screen. We've got green, baby. We've got green. Green. We've got green. I agree. Mitsubishi will be okay tomorrow. Yeah, the NASDAQ is rebounding the Magnificent 7 stocks. That could be why some of the bigger stock names are down. That is also a good point. I mean, that's probably happening. Sachin, hello. Thank you for being here. Okay, where's this website? Here's this website. US CPI banks preview. So headline CPI deaccelerated 4% year-on-year in May and is expected to continue slowing down to 3.1% year-over-year in June. core CPI remains stubbornly high, raising at 5.3% year over year, and expectations stand at 5% year over year for the upcoming release. So we're going to get, a decent decline on the headline and then a slight decline on the core, which is going to be enough if the market has factored that in to have some fun, to like really say, all right, we're going to buy these stocks. Remember, the reason the market buys stocks over bonds and treasuries is because they think there's a better return in stocks. And if inflation is coming down, there's a better return in the stock market, which is why they'd rather put their capital in some of these companies. Now, a lot of these companies are also being driven by retail in the context of Carvana, Open Door, some of the stuff like that. But as much as it might be retail, there may be some institutions that are seeing value in some of these small mid-cap stocks. And I mean, as an institution, I think about it like I have 50 million bucks. I don't see that much value in Meta now that it's up 300%, or Amazon or Google, or Tesla, Nvidia, that they're up so much. So maybe I just allocate some capital to some different companies, and some of those companies may have a little bit more momentum behind them, but that may be the logic as well. We're going to have a special guest at 9:45, and so we'll see him there. But until then, we will see what happens in the market. Trading is divided in two parts, and every week for half the week it's moon, and then for some reason it dumps again and then it repeats. That's a good point. That is a good point, because we have seen some of it. So like Robinhood 1150, we haven't seen that. But Palantir at 1650, we have seen that. So some stocks are actually getting to levels that they haven't seen before, which is really encouraging for them. Some stocks are just getting back to where they were in some of the bull runs. Ron John, what's up? Kevin Smith, what's up? All right, let's go back to the charts. We have a minute until the market opens. It is 7:11. It is National Indian Day. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Don't kill me for that. I can make that joke. My dad actually owned a convenience store. He didn't own a 7-Eleven, but he did own a convenience store. I haven't been to 7-Eleven in so long, because where I live now, all we have is Wawa and Quick Check. And if you're not in Jersey, you probably don't know any of those. 7-Eleven's international. I think they have like 40,000 locations. They're big in Japan. 7-Eleven has huge locations. Actually, let me see right now. How many 7-Elevens are there? How many 7-Elevens? So there's 9,000 in the US, and in the world, there are 78,000. There's a lot of 7-Elevens. All right, here we go. We got 8 seconds. Let's see where this market goes. 2, 1, ladies and gentlemen, on July 11th, 2023, the stock market is open. Wake your ass up. The stock market is indeed open. Here we go. We've got I was looking at something else. We've got Google at 116, Palantir at 1650, up 1.1%, Enphase at 174, a nice recovery from 166 yesterday on Enphase. We've got Robinhood at $11.51. Jacobs Engineering, this is one of those Palantir companies that came on our watch list, 122. S&P at 440, Tesla 268. So Tesla is down. We're expecting big tech to be down a little bit more as we see how things operate for big tech. We've got Open Door, $4.14. SoFi at $8.79. Let's see if we can crack $9. $8.88, up 1.24%. The NASDAQ is at 13,700. 13,864 was the high in 2023 for the NASDAQ. So we will see where the NASDAQ goes from here. We've got ARKG at $34. Netflix at $4.39. CrowdStrike at $1.50. Microsoft $3.30. Again, another big tech stock that is down. PayPal, look at that. 30 cents, 40 cents, 43 cents away from $70 on PayPal. PayPal got to $56 at one point. So congratulations to all the shareholders that bought some PayPal. SLG, beautiful REIT, 13% dividend, 1 billion market cap, or 2 billion market cap, 12 billion in assets. Now at $32. Me and Chris were looking at this one when it was about $19, $20. So not bad for the SLG shareholders. I do have a decent amount of SLG. Nvidia at $4.25, Apple $1.88, and Novix at $19.51. This guy's running as well. Unity at $40, Shopify $62, Zoom $68, Roku $68, Amazon $127. It's down from $130 a couple of days ago. So big tech is down. Let's go to the memes. Carvana, or what might be interpreted as that. Carvana's down a little bit. Affirm is up 4% at $15. Palantir now at $16.40, so down from the pre-market at $16.58, but still up for some of these other names. And you got Meta at $2.95. Meta seems to be only big tech that's actually green. Robinhood also $11.43. All right, so the rally is down just a little bit. We'll see if it continues into the next 10-20 minutes, but we definitely have a little bit of red into some of the rally. Trying to decide if I take some profits before tomorrow's numbers. Yeah, it's really hard. It's really hard to make that decision because there are some stocks where it's like, yeah, it's not a bad idea to take some profits, but it's also like, I'm just kind of going to let it ride, to be honest. I'm like, it's hard to try to figure this out. Do you like Slurpees? Yes, I do. Good morning, Amazon Prime. Oh, it's Amazon Prime Day. Oh, wow. Well, when we get the numbers for that, Amazon might be out. I mean, last year, I think, was their best year of Prime in their history. So I think they might be able to top that. 7-Eleven is big in Malaysia. That is true. 7-Eleven is very big internationally. PayPal crushing 70, up 110% on my hood leaps. Congrats, Bay Ray. That's amazing. Robinhood is look. It seems like it's going to be able to do well over the next year. And look, again, all this bull momentum is just going to pull more and more traders into that stock, and they're going to be using it more and more, which is going to be good. Nikola is down a little bit, down 2%. Roblox up 1.77%. Celsius, I want to look at that one. Celsius, Mullen is up 5%. Celsius down 1.12%. Kava, that restaurant thing that IPO'd, is at 43, so it's still up 100% from its IPO price. Snapchat at $12. Very interested to see Snapchat earnings. We have JPM and Citi reporting on Friday, and I think Pepsi on Thursday. So we'll get, I think, the next wave of big tech 2 weeks from now. It'll start next week, and we'll see what we get from there. SMCI, I haven't looked at this one in a while. This is at 275. This is also a chips play. Where's Target? Target's at 132. What else do we have? Duolingo's at 139. Yeah, nothing too crazy in the markets. I mean, Palantir at 1643 is awesome. Robin at 1144 is awesome. And SoFi at 888 is awesome. Tesla's down. See, this is the paradox. Tesla's down. Google's down. Google, I think investors are very wary of, to be honest. And I think Google's going to have a good quarter. I don't think Google's going to have a bad quarter, but I think investors are starting to really think deeply about, like, what is the long-term potential of Google. I think they're thinking about that. Even though I think, like, Google's not going away anytime soon. Netflix at 437. All right. Not a bad market. Not a bad market to open up. A couple of quick pieces of news. Palantir had an article about it yesterday. If you didn't know about it, I'll have a video coming out a little bit later. Time Magazine, the magazine that was that was purchased by Mark Benioff, the co-founder and CEO of Salesforce, who paid $190 million for it and made it completely not paywalled. So now it's only monetized through ads. He bought it, and they did an entire piece on Palantir yesterday, which is quite incredible, the piece they did on Palantir yesterday. I'm not going to go through it because I have a video coming out on it yesterday, but the article was really, really good. I mean, it was discussing all the different elements of what they're doing in terms of Ukraine. The entire piece was dedicated to this one journalist who went to Palantir's headquarters and, like, looked at all the stuff they're doing. And it's pretty crazy. So really, really good article from that. And that was good as well. You guys said Ginkgo Bioworks. Let me look at that one. Ginkgo. Wow. Ginkgo's at $2. All right. Congrats to Ginkgo shareholders. $2. Ginkgo got it. Let me know in the chat if you've used Threads ever since it launched, because I haven't. And I think that's a reoccurring trend with a lot of people that have downloaded it but aren't using it, which is not the best thing for Meta. I'm not using it officially. I tried using it yesterday. I'm like, there's nothing. It's like Instagram without the photos. I think Elon said it right. And I'm like, if it's Instagram without the photos, then it's not a text-based medium that's super interesting. I mean, like, it's nothing at that point. So I'm curious to see if people have used that at all. All right, let's go into some of the suits and let's play off some of the bullishness with a little bit of bearishness and see what's going on. Well, actually, this is a little bit of more bearishness than bullishness, or sorry, bullishness than bearishness, because it's talking about the big tech falling down and what is going on from there. Some of you guys said use, some of you guys said no, some of you guys said no download, some of you guys used it. All right, it's kind of 50-50. All right, investors should buy the market correction in tech. Let's see what they have to say.
Next guest says that we are still,
again, tech is more big tech,
in a secular bull market, and she still thinks the S&P, used still twice in the same sentence, can test the highs of 4,800, but not without some pain. For what she's buying here and what she expects to break out, let's bring in Marianne Bartles, Chief Investment Strategist at Sanctuary Wealth. You're bullish, and you think 4,800. Did you have a bullish target at the beginning of the year, Marianne? Because I haven't been giving you credit.
Well, we generally don't have targets, but what we said coming into the year, because we had looked at the monthly stochastic, that we thought we would get the best buying opportunity in the market this year since 2008 and 2009. We did say that.
Okay. On previous appearances, when I would ask you that you thought the October lows weren't going to be retested, you thought that a lot of people thought 4,200 was going to be a really difficult upper end of a range to get out of before retesting the lows and seeing some type of final, throwing in the towel or capitulation, and that never happened. You were always in the camp that we're going higher. When did you pick 4,800?
When we finally broke out of resistance around 4,200, that gave us the all clear that you're going to go up and test the highs, which are near 4,800 on the S&P.
And is this going to be near term? Is the CPI number, and in Tom Lee's view, is that going to be so cool that we see this start this week, start our move? You think by the end of the year, I mean, that's still a pretty good move. That's about 10% more, isn't it? Maybe a little bit less.
It is. And, obviously, Joe, we had fireworks for the first half of the year. I mean, we had tremendous gains in the S&P and the NASDAQ. We've been in a consolidation phase right now. You can still get a 5 to 10% pullback. But even if we do that in July, I still think we can rally up into August, have our seasonal correction in the fall, and still have a great year-end rally. Remember, this is the third year of the presidential cycle. And when the first half of the year is really strong, that trend stays in place. And we think that trend will continue. And we're going to have pretty good gains this year, which, as you know, Joe, most people were not anticipating. So, you don't always.
I agree with her on that. On years after the midterm as well, the market tends to rally. And if we've already got a good first half of the year into the presidential election, it should be pretty good. So I agree with her on that. SoFi, ladies and gentlemen, I believe has broken a certain level. It is at $9. There we go. SoFi stock right back at $9. We've got earnings in a week or 2 weeks. So if earnings crap the bed, we're going right back down. But if earnings don't crap the bed, we might be headed way higher than $9. And then look at Palantir, $16.60. Look at that. Wow. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. Palantir at $16.60. There are people I know that have this stock at $7-8 as an average. I'm not one of those people, unfortunately. I was the messenger. I was not the receiver of all of the beautiful benefits of a $6, $8 average. I got it early. It is what it is. There's companies like SoFi where I'm a little bit more earlier in, but man, $16 is pretty freaking amazing given where we were at. It is absolutely phenomenal to be at this level. And I think everyone should really feel, happy that they invested at $7-8 and had the conviction to invest at that time. This is pretty amazing. I mean, you couldn't have picked a better AI play. You really couldn't have picked a better outside of NVIDIA, obviously, but not bad. Officially have 420 Palantir shares and 9.2 in my retirement account. That's amazing. Yeah. I was looking at Oracle's market cap yesterday. Did you guys know Oracle has a $300 billion market cap? 300 billion, bro. I was like, what? 300? I didn't know Oracle. I was like, if Oracle can get to 300 billion, I know they're much bigger and they do a lot of storage and all this stuff, but I'm like, why can't Palantir get to 300 billion? I like the only comparable I had was Salesforce, right? And I'm like, wait a second, maybe Oracle's another comparable. I know it's a little different than Palantir, but in terms of B2B enterprise tech, like if they can get to 309 billion and they're growing still, like Oracle's still growing. Look at that. I mean, Oracle's had a pretty nice run. It was $6 in 2002 and it's at 120. So what was it 10 years ago? 10 years ago was what? Today's, so that's 2012. No, 2013. It was at $29. So it has kind of 5x in those 10 years, less than 5x, about 4x. About 4x. And at one point in the dot-com bubble was 104, came all the way right back down. And Oracle's not really an AI play. Oracle's more B2B storage, all this type of stuff. If we have an AI play where the market's willing to give you a premium, I don't know, things can get exciting for Palantir. Palantir now at $16.38, down just a little bit from the highs. Robinhood, $11.47. This guy's going for it. This guy's absolutely going for it. Robinhood now at 11.45. We'll see how it keeps going from there. S&P at 439. Tesla and Meta both down. Tesla at also 268. Just hit 100K for the first time. Congrats, Tyler Yu. Some people messaged me yesterday saying they just hit their portfolios at 100,000, which is absolutely amazing. So yeah, really good. Really, really awesome. You should feel proud of yourself. That's a big milestone. The entire world used to store data in Oracle. Yeah. So that's why Oracle is as big as they are. So my thing is like, if the entire world can use, some version of AI analytics from Palantir in some capacity, not even the entire world, but a decent amount of it, what could we see? So is $500 USD per share for Palantir possible? Personally, I do not think so. I don't think $500 is reasonable. I think that stock price is a bit ridiculous. That would assume Palantir is $1 trillion market. That's where you have to be like, all right, can we be a little bit reasonable here? Like, we want a good return, but we're not novice investors spewing out nonsense at 500. Like, it's very hard to imagine that, bro. It's very hard. Like, could it happen? Sure. The potential of it actually happening, I think, is just limited. Palantir falling now a little bit at 16.25. And the only reason is because I think you need to have a massive consumer product to justify that $1 trillion market cap. There's no B2B enterprise company in the history of companies that has gone to $1 trillion of selling to companies. The TAM is just not as big. Like, you need consumer-based products to have a TAM that's that big. YouTube, if it was separated from Google right now, I think it's close to 500-600 billion, and YouTube could absolutely get to $1 trillion. Because it's the world's videos, right, in one spot. It might be a little overvalued at $1 trillion at this, doing only 32 billion in revenue. But you look at the potential of YouTube, it's like 4 billion people are going to come on the internet and they're going to want to post videos, and YouTube's going to be the place to go, right? So I think you just need a consumer product. That's the biggest thing. Where are we at right now? What about 2033? Again, it's possible. I just think you have to have some consumer play to get there. Oracle is a beneficiary of AI because there will be a ton more data to store. I agree. It's just not a pure play AI company the way I'm thinking of Palantir, but that is very true. I only bought 1,000, but I could have bought 4,000. Damn, I missed big, but still happy to have some. Yeah, happy to have any. Look, it's. I think all of us feel like that now. If we had known it was going to get $16, like, we would have sold a lot of shit and just put it in Palantir. That is the hard part to figure out. Appreciate you, Mitt. Tyler, thank you for being here. I think our special guest should be on the way. Let's see if they're pulling up here. 9:45. I sent them the link. My phone is being weird. My phone is like not charging for some reason. I have like no idea why it's deciding to not charge. But they should be on the way. The special guest is Adam, by the way. It's Adam. Adam is going to join us, talk a little bit more about Palantir. All right. Palantir is taking a large dip. Yeah. So there we go. We got Palantir at 16.18. All right. So the market definitely sold it off. SoFi market did not sell off yet. Robinhood is selling off just a little bit. S&P is not getting sold off. So Palantir is getting sold off. Market's like, all right, 1650. And again, 1650 and 17, that's massive resistance. If you've seen, we've hit 1715 once. And since then, it's been a lot of resistance on that one. So market's definitely like, all right, I don't know. But again, this also happened yesterday. We also tanked 4% yesterday, and then it just rebounded right back up. I don't know if a similar thing were to happen today in terms of getting that, big red candle into green candle. But people are taking some profits. That is definitely happening. V-shaped recovery on old SoFi. Yep. Fubo. Fubo is interesting. I know this is a Jeremy stock. I haven't looked too much into Fubo. It's at $2. What is it up for the past 6 months? Is it up a certain amount? It was at 96 cents on March 20th. Oh, so it's up actually a lot. Wow, it's up more than 100%. It was at 149 on June 7th. All right, so Fubo is one of those small caps, and I have zero understanding of this company other than they're like a TV service provider. So I have to go a lot more deeper to understand them. What's their market cap? Price to sales of 0.46. 735 million. See, I don't even know if that's expensive or not for Fubo. Interesting. Yeah, I'll go into it. I'll take a look at it. I know Jeremy's big into this one. We'll see if there's anything there. Obviously, TTCF is this still on the market? I know that one got bankrupt. Wow. Why are they still? I thought they're filing for bankruptcy. Why are they? Doesn't your stock delist on that? I guess not. 18 cents. Oh boy. I think Jeremy got out at $1.30. So he got out at better of a time than now. All right, our special guest is here. We've got a lot to talk about, ladies and gentlemen. The man, the dude, the guy, with beautiful sound quality because he's hooked up to AI, Mr. Adam Bergman. What's up, bro?
What's up? How's everything going?
Everything is good. I think turn up the volume just a little bit, the mic. It's a little low.
What about now? It's good?
No, still low. Still low.
Second.
Yeah, you can turn up just a little bit more and then it'll be good. SDGI 375 to over 10 in less than 2 weeks. Goodness. Crazy stuff going in this market. Crazy stuff. NVIX is at 20. Let me look at that one. NVIX is, yeah, wow. NVIX has hit 20. Go ahead.
You hear me better now or no?
Perfect. That's perfect.
All right.
Perfect. All right. What's going on? What's up with this market? Why is everything going crazy?
Everybody's anticipating what's going to happen with the Federal Reserve. I'm assuming the CPI is going to come down lower tomorrow, and probably the market's going to tank next week before the Federal Reserve meeting, and we'll see what's going to happen on the Federal Reserve meeting. But everything's moving accordingly. We're getting a lot of returns. Everything looks good. And yeah, man, enjoy the ride, everybody. Enjoy the freaking ride. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. A lot of news for Palantir, huh?
Yeah, so yesterday, Palantir just recovered from 1613. It was at 1630. Started the market at 1650. I think there's momentum to get to 17. It's just a question of if people sell it off or not. Yeah, it's good because yesterday, we didn't expect it to break 16 and it did. So it's holding there, which is not the worst. What did you think about this article that came out from a pretty reputable news organization called Time? Any thoughts on why they did the piece on them? And I'm sure you read it. Any thoughts on the actual content?
I did not read the entire thing yet. I did not get a chance to read it yet. I just noticed that there's at least four articles that was written in the same amount of days, right?
Yeah,
4 articles. You have Time.
Yep.
You have The Economist. You have BBC. You guys are all freaks. Stop thinking what you guys are thinking. BBC is the British broadcasting channel. You guys are freaks. And then we had the one other one. I forgot.
CNBC, Forbes.
That's even, no. There was one more I posted on my Twitter. There was actually 5. There was another one where the vice president of Palantir, Wendy, she actually went and she did an interview as well.
Right.
So all of a sudden, the narrative that we've been talking about for quite a while that people didn't understand, and I remember talking about this a year ago, how vital it is that Palantir's in Ukraine. And again, the main street is just catching up to what the Palantir communities has been saying for quite a long time. All of a sudden, Palantir is literally the future of warfare, changing war, how everybody needs to adapt to this. Look, it's quite simple. They are setting up Palantir to be a software prime and one of the military primes in general for the future. As I said, America is their home base. The UK is a huge market, but the future frontier for Palantir is Ukraine and NATO by extension. I think the government business is going to grow. A lot of people say commercial, which I agree, but the government business, don't sleep on that shit. Do not sleep on it.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of journalists are starting to recognize, look, this is a really important company. For us to do an entire piece on them and what they're doing in Ukraine really matters. I guess the question then becomes from a business perspective as shareholders, what are we looking for in terms of returns? Because obviously we're not making any money off this right now. And I think you said it correctly. If we give it enough time, I think Karp and company are playing chess with this. They're we know where the world's going. We know every country in NATO is going to need some type of defense. That whole article, when you get into it, you'll read it's saying what Karp's been saying, that this software is what gives you an advantage. It's just that simple. It's if you don't have as many resources, then the targeting of your resources needs to be more accurate because you don't have shit to waste. And Palantir does that. And if that's the case, every Western country in the world should have the software, even if they're not in a war, if they should just be ready for defense. And if that's the case, that's a big, big business.
And did you notice, I watched that interview with Biden, by the way, and I'm not a huge fan of Biden by any means, but he did really good in that interview.
He was competent, right? He wasn't stuttering. He was just going the whole way.
He was, I would say he was even above competent. He did a good job. I got to give him credit where credit is due. You can't hear me clapping because I have AI on, but yeah, credit where credit is due. It's so crazy that you don't hear anything in the background. It blows my mind, the power of AI, ChatGPT, but this is AI being used my whole office right now is AI. It's insane. In any case, one of the things he was mentioning was that Ukraine is running out of Ukraine needs ammunition.
Yep.
And America doesn't have enough ammunition. And then they were doing like I think it's not exactly war games, but like one of the generals like, listen, we don't have enough ammunition if Taiwan was invaded and stuff like that. And I'm paraphrasing. I'm not giving you guys the exact, but I was just reading an article earlier today. Well, how do you become more efficient with the ammo that you're using? How do you know where the ammo is supposed to go, where the ammo is not supposed to go? When would you need more ammo? Based on what scenarios would you need the ammo? And it's quite simple. You're going to be using AIP. Look, and I just want to retract. When I say you're going to be using this or that, I understand Palantir is not even going to be the lion's share of, military. I'm just giving you guys a theory for Palantir. I understand they're not taking over. I understand they're not going to be like replacing the military. I'm just saying that there is huge growth for Palantir, so I don't want anybody to misconstrue what I'm saying. But yeah, they're going to be using AIP, they're going to be using Gotham, they're going to be able to become as efficient as possible, and they're going to be able to do a lot more with less, because this overindulgence and this overspending is still going to happen, but we're going to be spending and indulging in different areas, so we're going to get a lot more lean. And how do you get lean? You use data. What kind of data? Data integration and digital twins through Palantir. Listen, I know everybody's not a fan of Databricks over here, but SoFi is absolutely killing it with Databricks. JP Morgan to compete is using Palantir. This is the new wave. You need to have data integration. You have to have data analytics. This is where the entire world is going. And Palantir is at the forefront. And only now people are talking about it. People are just now starting to understand it.
It's so interesting because, obviously, you and I at an elementary level, I think a year ago in like late 2022, early 2022, knew that data was going to be the thing that takes over. I don't think we knew that it was going to be like an existential crisis in your company if you didn't have a data strategy, which is like all the technical people that I've talked to privately. They're like, this is one guy I talked to. It's a public company. Palantir's working with them. I can't say the name of them. But he said, like, when ChatGPT came out, we literally were like, our company, which is doing billions in revenue, is going to die unless we figure out how we implement AI, because they knew some startup was just going to use GPT and totally remodel what their company was built on for the past 2 decades. And so it became a crisis for them. And that's why they adopted Palantir. And I think there's going to be a lot more of those scenarios happening over the next
Andrew, listen, we were talking Coach Strap. I think that was the first time I did the Palantir live with you guys at night. And we were talking about lining up, and Coach Strap said it right. They're going to be lining up around the door, knocking on Palantir, hey, can we get your software? If Palantir is proven in Ukraine, which a lot of people are hate on my comments when I say that Ukraine is winning, but it's up to interpretation what winning and losing is. Nobody's winning and nobody's losing, right? I just want to make that clear. But the fact that Ukraine is still standing when they were supposed to die in 3 days, literally there was not supposed to be Ukraine after 3 days. And it's been a year and a half, 18 months, and Ukraine is still here, right? So Palantir has a huge deal to do with this. So then the haters started saying, right, you can do chronological order. First, people started saying, Palantir can't do this, Palantir can't do that. All they are is data analytics. Okay, fantastic. The military then says, no, they're not just data analytics, they're data integration, and they're literally integrated in all of the military, not just one branch, not just one division, subdivision. The entire U.S. military is running on Palantir. You guys can believe it or not. Literally, the whole military is running on Palantir. Only Palantir by a wide margin. And now they're moving into Ukraine, and everyone's like, oh, they're not going to be able to make a difference. Ukraine is going to fall in 3 days. I remember reporting on it when they were marching on Kiev. Well, lo and behold, Ukraine did not fall. And somehow they're not only standing their ground, but they're giving as good as they're getting. Yes, NATO is supporting them. U.S. is supporting them. Tons and tons of money. But at the end of the day, they're still standing. So then people are like, well, it has nothing to do with Palantir. It has to do with Ukrainian military, U.S. hardware, U.S. funding, NATO funding, so on and so forth. Okay, well, the whole time we're saying, no, Palantir has a huge deal to do with this, because Dr. Alex Karp would never just go into Ukraine, shake hands with Vladimir while everybody is talking on Zooms. He was the only person that came boots on the ground to speak to them. Well, now when you have 4 articles in 4 days, major articles, right? Times is major. It's not small. It's fucking huge. The Economist is huge. The other one is huge. Political. These are big articles, right? These are not. This is not a Palantir Daily or Arnie Bullets, right? This is no disrespect, right? It's not
it's real.
us. This is exactly. It's real. It's real, and they're now reporting. Literally, they're saying the future of warfare. Palantir changing the wave of Ukraine. Palantir. They're literally, and there's other articles that were talking about the fucking the drones, and they're literally showing that it's Palantir drones. Like it's
stuff, yeah.
Exactly. So it's so crazy that people are like not giving Palantir credit for this. Meanwhile, it is Palantir. We knew it, but now it's just justifications. These articles are writing about it. It's not like us being, oh, Adam's an idiot. No, Palantir is happening, right? It's being reported. And people still hating.
tinfoil hat theory on this. This is like legitimate news sources, valid. Yeah, it's a big deal. I was saying yesterday on the stream, like this is part of the moat. I mean, like we can't discount it as the moat. I don't care if we're making $0 from this. This is absolutely in one of the biggest wars in the past decade, we would say, at least geopolitically in Europe, where our software is being used on the front lines. Yeah, that's part of the moat because that's going to have implications. It's going to have implications. We don't need to see them right now. Just like with Tesla, when they were figuring out how to make batteries even cheaper back in 2014, 2015, it had implications 5 years later.
Can I answer one of the comments right here by JTel?
Yep.
I'm going to try to be as nice as possible. Okay. Yes and no. Yes and no. Maybe the reason Ukraine is standing is because of the support of the US and NATO, which I said that. However, let's dissect that. That's macro. Let's talk about the micro. What's the micro reasons? If I were to give you $100 billion right now, JTel, what would you do with it? You would do fuck all because you have no capabilities of doing anything with that money, to be honest with you. So it's not just the taxpayers are giving them money. The taxpayers are giving them money. The US is sending them money, including NATO. But what exactly did this do? This has several effects. Number one, Ukraine is still standing. But let's talk about unpack it. NATO was not supporting the NATO alliance through GDP. All the NATO countries are supposed to give 2% of their GDP into NATO. They weren't doing this. Donald Trump was called the crazy orange man when he was saying this. Nobody believed him, but he was absolutely fucking right. Now, all of a sudden, these countries in NATO are stepping up their game and they're supporting NATO and putting a lot more money into defense. Where's this money going to go to? Okay? Where's it going to go to? And this is what you don't understand because you are simple-minded. And I'm trying to be as nice as possible to speak to you. You literally are simple-minded. And I'm going to explain to you why you're simple-minded. Like, that's why if I gave you $100 billion, you would be the quickest millionaire in the world because you would lose the billions and you would become a millionaire.
And I'm happy you're doing this because a lot of people are saying, oh, the only reason Ukraine is alive is because we sent them money. And it's like, I feel like that is an elementary way of analyzing what the fuck is going on. It's, there's a lot more than just, okay, we give them money and then they're alive. It's like, no, there's a lot of shit they have to do with that money.
Exactly. There's a lot that they have to do with the money. So all the money that's now going into Ukraine, once Ukraine wins, define whatever you want. As long as Ukraine is standing, they can give up Crimea, they could give up Donbass. If the rest of Ukraine is still standing outside of those, and if they could take those back, fantastic. Ukraine wins. They're going to spend a shit ton of money in reconstruction. Where's the money going to go to? Where's the money going to go to for the reconstruction?
Can you define that for people who don't know what it is?
Yeah, reconstruction is going to be the amount of money that they put into, number one, military defense. Number two, putting in money in partnerships between government and commercial businesses and infrastructure, right? Because everything is getting bombed, everything's getting destroyed. You need to rebuild it. When you rebuild it, you're going to rebuild it bigger, better, better. The companies that are going to be in Ukraine are going to be lion's share American companies and American allies. So all the money that is now going from taxpayers' money into Ukraine is going to flow back into the United States. Whether it's going to, that's what's happening. This is imperialism, and people don't understand this. This is literally modern-day imperialism.
Adam, what is your response to if we just didn't give them the money, then there would be no war? If we just took away funding from Ukraine, is your argument Ukraine would just fall apart at that point?
Yeah, for de facto, there would be no war because Ukraine would not be here. Russia would take completely 100% over Ukraine. And then what would happen is Russia would end up going and taking more territories, and they would end up becoming another Soviet Union with a similar size of land.
Wow.
Look, if Ukraine is very small compared to Russia, but Ukraine is the second strongest country when it comes to old Soviet Union countries. They're the second strongest after Russia. So if Russia defeats Ukraine, right, and they just stormtroop them, then they're going to go after all of the Baltic states, right? They're going to take Poland, Lithuania, all the Stan countries, all of them. All of it is going to be. And now NATO has a real problem because Soviet Union is going to be as big as. Thank you so much, Lucas. I appreciate you, man. Probably that guy's
I
brain
think people
cells
need to
are
remember
all in
you are Russian. You've actually studied this stuff. You're not talking out of your ass. You kind of know the history of. You were listening to Russian news the day that the whole I forgot his name.
Yeah,
Wagner.
and I studied AP Russian history in high school, actually. AP history.
Yeah,
So
you know your
that
shit
was
when
my
it comes to this
classes.
stuff. Yeah.
I mean, more than most people, not on an expert level, but yes, I do know a little bit more than most people on it. So yeah, Ukraine would fall, and Russia and then NATO would have a problem. But then what happens? Then we might actually have to have boots on the ground. We're avoiding an actual war, and we're having a de facto war. So yes, we're spending a lot of taxpayers' money on this, but this all ends up prospering the companies. Now, if the companies trickle down and pay their employees, fantastic. If you, the taxpayer, is not getting the money back in some way, shape, or form, it is what it is. But there's a lot of money that trickles back to you that you don't understand you're getting back. Just saying.
Yeah. No, it's a real point. It's really, really good analysis on that. And I think a lot of people, including myself, don't know about, like, a lot of people are just like, oh, Biden's giving them money. Trump would not give them money. I don't know. I think a Republican would also give them some money because we realize, yes, it's America first, but we need to make sure that Russia doesn't take over the whole Baltic region, right?
Check this out. You think Trump wasn't giving them money? I'll prove that he was. And a nice amount too. Okay, you ready for this?
I'm ready.
Ukraine was prepared 6 months in advance prior to the actual invasion of Russia. You guys don't believe me? Quite simply, Ukraine was using anybody from the military, any of my military people, anybody that's been in Afghanistan and Iraq. The gear that the Ukrainians are using is upper middle, lower higher gear. Their night vision, their armor, all of their gear that they're using. If you talk about logistics, you can't just give somebody this stuff and all of a sudden, hey, I'm going to wear this. I'm going to use night vision. I'm going to use this and that. No, they've been training for a while. Trump started this. Trump was giving them funding. That's why they were prepared at least 6 months in advance. And that's why I think Palantir was there 6 months in advance that anybody knows. They were preparing them for this. That, hey, there's movement here, there's movement there, blah, 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 blah. And that's why they were so much more prepared.
No, and that also makes sense because it's not like Russia woke up one morning in February and just started an offensive. Russia also had to be preparing and obviously giving hints that they were getting ready to do kind of what they're doing with China and Taiwan. I mean, the South China Sea is getting a lot more aggressive right now. And in that preparation, they're like, all right, let's just make sure we're ready. And then if shit pops off, it's like, all right, at least we have some weapons ready to go.
Yo, Nick, you're a moron. Answer me this, riddle me that. How's Ukraine still standing? I'm not a war expert. I just use logic. Riddle me this, riddle me that, Nick. Come on, use your brain cells. Was Ukraine supposed to fall in 3 days, yes or no? Including on Russian television, they said that they were going to fall in 3 days. This is not me. Like, they were saying this in Russia. That's where the special military operation came from. Yes or no? The answer is going to be yes, because you can't say no. Ukraine was supposed to fall in 3 days. Riddle me this, riddle me that. Why did Putin call in 300,000? 300,000. With
Really?
still,
He called in that many people? Damn.
bro, 300,000 people were drafted into Russian army right now for special military operation. That's why there's shit tons of protests right now happening in Russia. And you know where they're getting all the people? Not in the main cities. They're getting them like in the countryside. So Russia has 3 main cities. That's it. All the money, like 94% of all money in Russia goes to Moscow, St. Petersburg, and Kazan. Those are the three main cities. And really, it's only Moscow and St. Petersburg. So everybody that's not in these main cities, nobody really cares about. No disrespect. Like, nobody cares. This is like rural Russia. Nobody cares. They're still living the same way they were. Bro, they have no roads. It's all fucked up over there.
Like farmers and shit.
Yeah, and that the conscripts, where they're enlisting people, It's still open. They never closed it.
Hmm.
So why all of a sudden are you enlisting people? Let me ask you a question. If Ukraine is losing, why are they still here? And why do you need more people? Like seriously. It doesn't make sense, bro.
Yeah. I mean, it's fair. And someone says actually it's way more than 300,000 now because they had a failed offensive that they tried. Yeah.
So there's an open enlistment, and that enlistment says that. So in Russian, the enlistment said, "We're going to take 300,000 people," and I'm paraphrasing, but the words basically. And on TV, they're like, "Hey, we're not going to enlist any more people." But that enlistment, and they said, "Hold on, we're going to take 300,000 people, but if anybody had experience, if anybody was ever like any experience in the army, right? And everybody has experience in the army there, but they never closed it. It was open ended, which means they can always go back to get more people. So my question is, if Ukraine is losing, how are they still standing? That's all. That's my
market's
question.
recovering as well. Palantir at 1648, so not bad. Yeah, no, I think you got a point, Adam. I mean, like, it makes a lot of sense. You know a lot more about this than anyone else, but I don't think it takes a rocket science to be like, why is Ukraine still here? And it's either the U.S. has weapons or the U.S. is giving them software, or both, because they know what to do with the weapons because of the software. And
yeah, 100%.
If that's the
Look,
case, that's Palantir.
There's a huge shining light on Palantir. That's all I'm saying. I don't want war. I don't like war. And I think I was just speaking to Ahmet. That's why I think 2024 is going to be good, because this war is going to be over officially, in my opinion. And I think the economy bounces back, and this brings us out of any potential recession that we're going to have. That's my opinion of it.
Do you think we get a healthy kind of peace negotiations and everyone goes their separate ways, or do you think Ukraine gives up some parts of eastern Ukraine to Russia? How do you think this ends if you had to guess over the next year?
So I always thought that they're going to concede Donbass and they're going to concede Crimea.
Didn't they do that in 2014, or am I wrong about that?
They never actually said that it's not our land. They still believe that it's their land. They just can't really do much about it. But what's happening right now is they're getting a lot more brazen, right? And now things are shifting of like, hey, this is our land and we're fighting, and you get a sense of, hey, we can actually fully win this thing. There's a big difference between defending your land and winning it. So then I don't know where this ends. I always thought that's the way it would end it, to be honest. But then Putin got aggressive and said, well, we don't just want our piece of Donbass. We want to take the whole Donbass region. I don't know. I don't know what's going to end up happening. Maybe somebody takes over Putin's spot. That's what I thought was about to happen.
All right. Well, that's some of the Palantir stuff. We'll see where it goes from there. Palantir recovering nicely. Any thoughts on SoFi before earnings? SoFi touching $9 today. Palantir now at 1651.
That's
so again,
beautiful.
Palantir fell to 1613, right back to 1651. So not bad. Any thoughts on SoFi at $9?
Yeah, SoFi is a fantastic company, man. I think SoFi is going to run. I think in general, the whole fintech is going to run. The crew of SoFi, the crew of Robinhood, Square, PayPal.
Robinhood at 1175 right now, bro.
You made a killing on that one, didn't you?
Yeah, I'm up pretty nicely on that. But there's a lot more to go. I mean, if it does what it needs to do over the next year, it's going to be a lot more. So
I agree with you. I'm super excited what's happening with PayPal as well. I think Robinhood is going to be a huge
PayPal's at 70? No, it was basically at 70. 69.
Almost. There's going to be a huge run up right now. Listen, it's going to be very important to see what's going to happen with CPI and PPI, but let's see worst case scenario. Worst case scenario is Federal Reserve is going to raise by another 25 basis points. Honestly, I think the market eats it, and the market wants to run. The market literally wants to run. It's like before the market in 22, nothing was right. Everything was wrong. No matter any good news, the market drops. And now it's like, no matter what, everything's like a road bump, and we just keep moving ahead. That's what it seems like. So I think SoFi has a lot more room to grow. I think, so two bull case scenarios, one for SoFi, one for Robinhood, and they're both the same. GAAP profitability coming this year.
Yep.
Or Robinhood maybe later, but it depends when the market comes back. But both of them should have GAAP profitability very, very soon.
That is true. That is very true. That's a big case for them. Adam, can you tell me about HIMS? Can you give us like a good 2-3 minute bull case for that company? Because people have been talking about it. Is I don't know if it's participating in this rally. It is. Oh, it's up just a little bit. Obviously the charts look pretty decent. I know it was like a $1-2
Yeah,
stock at one point, ran up to 12. What is the bull case for this company?
sure. So Hims is a telehealth play, but telehealth is a means to an end. And unlike Teladoc that uses telehealth, that's like their main way of making money. Hims uses telehealth to make quick interviews with doctors, which is through like text messages. It's like a 3-minute review. It's mad fast. I showed it on my channel, and then they push their products on you. And Hims has Hims and hers. Hims is hair growth, erectile dysfunction, skincare. Hers is similar for women, including contraceptive, things like that. They don't sell any narcotics type drugs. And they keep expanding their product lines. So the bull case for Hims is they do more telehealth interactions than Teladoc by far, like by a country mile.
Mm.
Their margins are 80% gross margins right now, and they actually keep increasing the bar, meeting the expectations, and destroying earnings. The last earnings, they destroyed earnings, and the stock has been going down ever since. And there's an inverse reaction. As the markets go up in general, it seems Hims goes down. And as the markets were going down, Hims was going up. I don't think that's going to last, and I think Hims is going to recover. I've been saying it on my channel for quite a while. When it goes sub 8, if it goes sub 8, I'm going to buy some options for the next earnings because I think that we're going to beat.
Is it worth buying
and
right now? Do you think it's run up
I
too
think
much,
it's a
or
good.
do you think it's a
No,
good
I
buy?
think it's good. Listen, Hims went all the way up from $3 to 12 and change, and now it's chilling at like 860. Hims is fantastic. If you go to Hims and you go to Teladoc and you put in the price to sales, and I don't remember it off the top of my head, Hims is actually a 3 or 4 times better company to buy when you go for valuation and price to sales, and the amount of revenue that they're bringing in. Oh, by the way, Hims grew last year by nearly 100%. This last quarter, they grew by 77%, 82%. I mean, think about the growth that I'm talking about over here. And SoFi, when they invest, right, when they do marketing, SoFi gets their marketing back in about 1.5 to 2 years, the estimate. So for every dollar that they put in, they make that back in 1.5 to 2 years. Hims makes their money back in 1 year. So whatever they put in marketing, they get back in a year. Also, they were getting $50 per customer. So the way it works is they have a stickiness rate, right? So every customer they have, there's a 95% chance that they're going to stay with Hims. That's their conversion rate. They now have 1.2 million subscribers. 1.2 million subscribers, 95% plus stickiness rate. And they keep increasing the amount that they're squeezing out from each client. A year ago it was $50, then it became $53. Now they're getting $56 per client. Hims is a monster. And as long as they keep, hitting their numbers, I don't see why we're not going to hit $15 a share.
Is Hims mainly e-commerce, or is it a subscription?
No, it's subscription, e-commerce. So they do have retail. So they're in like CVS's and Walbaum's, things like that, pharmacies. But like 99% of their income comes from online. And they're only in 2 markets, the US and the UK, which they're going to expand on.
So they have a lot of room to
Also,
grow.
if you go to their C-level executives and you go to their consulting board, like Palantir has the federal consulting board, they have medical consulting board. They have some huge heavy hitters that worked in some mega companies. The only negative, the CEO is a huge, he has a really big mouth when it comes to politics, and he had to like block his Twitter several times already because a lot of people, including the members, hate on his political views, which I
Is he
won't get
liberal
into.
or conservative?
It don't matter. I don't agree with his political
but
views, and I don't want to talk
okay, so
about
he's liberal then.
It's beyond that. It's beyond that. He has a lot of I won't get into it. I'll talk to you privately on it, but he literally had to block his account several times, and I think that's hindering their growth only because of that.
Wow. Didn't know
Yeah.
that. Okay, what are your thoughts on why big tech is down, but small caps are up? Like Tesla 267, Meta 293. Like do you think there's a rotation happening from some of the larger names because they run up so much into some of the smaller names?
I think people are just seeing that the market is coming back. I don't think that the big names are stopping. I just think people want more returns, right? People are getting greedy. So Google and Microsoft was up like 30% or 40% year to date. But then you're looking at Tesla, Palantir, and Nvidia, huge other names, right? And they're all up like 100% year to date. So what happens? People get greedy. All of a sudden, your plans go out the window. It's like everyone's a fighter until they get punched in the face. So everyone's a investor until they see that their investments could be making more profit somewhere else. Like that's kind of what's happening. So people are switching. Like I'm tempted to sell out of my truest position, but I'm not, because it's like, oh, everything's running up. Where's my truest? But I'm holding true to my investment strategy. So that's what I think maybe some people are getting out. I don't know.
Thank you to the 496 people here. I put Adam's Twitter in the chat. Please make sure to follow him on Twitter. He's getting close to breaking 1,000 on Twitter at 979. So we literally need 21 more people. If you can make that happen right now, that'd be awesome. Adam, given we're talking about Twitter, what are your thoughts on Threads that just passed 100 million users, which is Facebook's version of Twitter?
Man, I don't have any opinion on that. I'm not a social media guy, believe it or not. I never had social media before, like YouTube. So I don't really have an opinion. I'm not the right person to ask about that. I don't know anything about it. I don't even understand why people use social media. Stupidest shit in the world.
So I get him some Twitter followers, and the guy's like, I don't give a fuck about Twitter. Yeah, no, it's fair. It's fair. And I don't think you own any Meta, so you don't care about that as well.
No, I don't. But yeah.
So here's my last question. Yeah. Where's this bad boy going? Can you give me some catalysts over the next 6 months for where you think Bitcoin is heading?
So shout out to my channel members, by the way. I started talking about Bitcoin.
I joined yesterday, by the way. I'm a channel member.
No, you are not.
Yes, I am. I joined. You didn't get the notification? I joined. I thought you did.
I didn't see it yet. Thank you. I appreciate that. That. Guys, and don't get mad about when I talk. I'm just honest one way or the other. I once I started concentrating my other business again, I don't really care what's happening with YouTube, if I make money or not. I'm just honest, 100% raw. So I'll always give it to you 100% honest. And that's just who I am. Follow me, not follow me. It is what it is. Yes, sir. Raw dogging it, bro. That's how I got 2 kids, So there's a huge catalyst right now that's about to happen to Bitcoin and crypto in general. Yo, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. And don't listen to anybody else except for this, not financial advice. 2 huge catalysts. Everything else is just white noise. The first catalyst is the Bitcoin halving. Very simple. Bitcoin halving is every single time you have the miners of Bitcoin, there's a reward. And the reward gets halved every 4 years. It was 50 Bitcoin, then 25, 12 and a half. Now it's like 6 point something. And now it's going to be 3 point something, which means the scarcity of Bitcoin goes up. There's only ever going to be 21 million Bitcoin. Everybody knows that. Right now there's around 19.4. And an estimated 5 million Bitcoin is lost forever, which means people don't have access to their passwords. Back in the day, everything was on a hard drive, and it was a lot easier to lose access. And if you lost access, you're an idiot. You shouldn't have lost your access. I actually know a guy that lost $50 million worth of Bitcoin, believe it or not. He has his hard drive. He cannot access it. So crazy. So crazy. In any case, so because the scarcity is going down, the price of Bitcoin should go up. The last halving that we had, and I don't hear you, bro.
Oh, sorry. I was saying when the halving happens, does that mean there's less than 21 million?
No, that just means the amount mined is less. So the 21 million is always...
The stuff people get paid for mining, it goes in half.
Yes. Okay, because it goes in half, that means the scarcity is... Okay, question to you. Why is gold gold? What is the value of gold? In general, I'm not testing you. Like, just what is the value of gold?
From an Indian household at weddings, a lot of people wear gold, and that's where I've seen the value of gold all my life. Like, they give gold to the wife when she gets married. It's like a big thing in Indian culture to give gold. That's
fantastic. And the value is that if you want to buy gold, you have to go buy it in the store. There's not you can't just find it on the floor. You need to purchase it, right?
Correct.
Or sell it. Okay, good. Approximately 5% of total supply of gold is mined every single year. We know this. So we know that there's only going to be 5% more gold every single year from the mines. That's the value of gold. We know the fixed supply, and we know how much supply is going to be coming out. This is also the value of Bitcoin. Now, most people will never explain it like that, but that's what they mean by Bitcoin is digital gold. You ever heard that term?
Bitcoin is digital. Yes. Heard that before.
But nobody has ever explained why it's digital gold. That is why, because we know the value of gold because there's a fixed supply that's going to be mined every year. So now we know the value of Bitcoin because there's a fixed amount that is going to be mined every single year, and that fixed amount actually gets reduced. So because of that, that's how people are able to give you a chart of where they think Bitcoin's going to go in the future. So now that you have the halving, this is going to increase the scarcity, which should increase the price therefore. The last halving, Bitcoin went up 700%. The halving, that's 2020. In 2016, the halving went up 2,800. So the halving is less effective as we go along. But even in that, you'd think Bitcoin should go up a good, 2 to 4x just based on the halving. That's one huge catalyst that we have right now. And the halving is going to be around April, May 2024. And it should last around a year, the actual real bull cycle. So that's one. But then you have this other crazy catalyst right now that you have something called a Bitcoin ETF. So we have Bitcoin ETFs, future ETFs. Now we're going to have a spot ETF. A futures ETF does not actually buy the underlying asset, and it's super risky. A spot ETF must buy the underlying asset. So now we know scarcity, and we know scarcity is going down, and we know that around 5 million Bitcoin is lost forever. So in reality, we only have around 16, 17 million Bitcoin of the 21 that's actually ever going to be up for grabs.
Right.
This Bitcoin spot ETF is being filed by BlackRock, Fidelity, and several other smaller players. BlackRock is the largest asset manager. Fidelity is the third. And then you have Vanguard. BlackRock, 9 trillion under management. Fidelity is 4 trillion under management. Between them and the others filing right now, that's $15 trillion under management. There's a saying by all financial institutions that you should have at least 1% of your portfolio in Bitcoin. It's a risk, risky. You heard that all the time. So if you take 1% of 15 trillion, that's 150 billion. 150 billion of the total market cap of Bitcoin right now is 600 billion. That's around 25%. If you dump 25% value of the total asset of anything, just think about that. It's not a one-to-one. So if you dump 25% to buy up all the shares of Bitcoin right now, all the Bitcoin, it's not going to go up 25%. It's going to go up multi-baggers from that. So you have that ETF that you have 240 days to approve, which is approximately 2 months before the actual halving. Coincidence? Maybe, maybe not. BlackRock don't lose, guys. The BlackRock
Didn't Larry
ETFs
Fink come out and say that he's bullish on Bitcoin or something?
Yep. He literally came out on TV and he says Bitcoin is digital gold and Bitcoin is an international asset. That's what he said. Flat out. He also said and gave himself a way out. Before he used to hate on Bitcoin, and he says in the past, and he stressed in the past, it was used for nefarious situations, nefarious purchases. That's how he's getting out of saying in the past. But now it's being used for good. So if you believe in the halving and you believe that they're going to spend 1% of their assets if the Bitcoin ETF is going to get approved, then Bitcoin should go up a good 2 to 10x. Who knows? And I'm throwing a huge margin. I don't know. I don't know what it's going to be. But if they put in 25% of the value of all Bitcoin, they're going to squeeze the price like a motherfucker. Think about a short squeeze. What happens to a stock? Right? And they're doing it much less.
That's fair. If these big guys buy Bitcoin, this shit's going up. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to know if the biggest institution in the world buy the underlying asset or some variation of it, it's going up.
So, and Cameron just said BlackRock had 400 plus funds approved. The actual number, yes, you're right. The actual number is 575 to 1. And most people don't know that one, they ended up getting approved later. So they have a flawless record, as flawless as possible. And the reason why the Bitcoin ETFs were getting disapproved before is because they didn't have a surveillance agreement. Well, now all of these companies have surveillance agreements where they said we're going to have shared surveillance with the SEC, which allows you to look in our books. Whether you believe in decentralization or not, or the theory, just talk about actually making money off of cryptocurrency. If that's going to happen, it's going to blow up. And now all of these potential ETFs are calling Coinbase as their partners for the shared surveillance. And that's why Coinbase right now is going up.
Wow, look at Coinbase, up 7% on the day.
Bro, Coinbase is a monster because of this. And if Coinbase wins this suit against SEC, crypto is going to skyrocket as well. That's another huge catalyst. If Gary Gensler gets thrown off, huge catalyst for crypto as well. The ex-SEC chairman just came out on TV and he says, look, these ETFs have been scrutinized for so long, it's about time they get approved. That's the ex-CCC. That's the guy that brought the initial lawsuit against Ripple. Remember, Ripple was on the lawsuit?
Yep.
He's the one that brought the lawsuit, the ex-SEC guy, and he came out on TV and he says it's about time we approve the ETFs. So that's where the catalysts are right now, guys. Believe it or not, whatever.
Oh, that was a great explanation. Thank you for that. That was an awesome explanation. I think, and it seems like it's coming into fruition when the halving happens, and if these SEC things get approved, and if these ETFs go into place. The BlackRock guy actually coming out and saying it also made me a little bit more like, huh, why is this guy? He's always been anti-Bitcoin. Why is he? You know, and it's like, if there's money to be made, these fucking sharks, they're gonna say whatever the fuck they have to say to make their money.
New frontiers, bro. Look, BlackRock don't lose. Fidelity is not going to lose, and Vanguard is not going to be far behind. They're also going to come in, and they have another $7 trillion under management. They need new money. They need new life, and that's where it's going to come from. 100%.
Thank you, Richie, for the super chat. Admit Bitcoin is the only global asset global governments can't control. Yeah, I agree with you. It's the one thing that can't be inflated or printed to the tune of billions of dollars by the Fed. Palantir now at $16.81. I don't know if we hit 17, but it's a hell of a run in the past 2 days.
Don't go 18. Just don't go 18.
Adam's got some covered calls on 18, so we can't get to 18. Yeah, let's see, man. Let's see. I don't know. Maybe we in Power Hour we break through to get to 17. We'll see. But
are you gonna buy crypto, Amit?
I'm thinking of starting to officially get exposure to Bitcoin because I have none. You are making me more bullish. Obviously, Carlos and Vitaly all day. They're telling me to buy this shit. I would buy it literally just to put, a couple grand just so when the run happens, I don't have FOMO and I don't feel, but obviously I don't have enough to buy a whole Bitcoin. So.
You don't need to. And that's that argument that you were using. I think you realize that's a man. You got so much shit for it, bro. You got destroyed on that one.
They're like, admit if it goes up 10x, it goes. My thing was like, all right, go ahead.
No, go.
I was just gonna say, if I buy a stock that's at $10 and I can see the path to 100, like a SoFi, I'm more excited than if I buy, 1/100th of a Bitcoin and then that goes up, because it's not the same feeling in terms of me analyzing a stock actually 10xing on itself versus Bitcoin. But it's correct. I mean, if it goes up to 300,000, you make 10x.
So, Mark, to answer your question, buying Bitcoin miners is actually one of the worst moves you can do, because if you're going to look at the underlying asset, so the value of the miners is the actual crypto that they hold. So, for example, if a miner holds 1 Bitcoin, you would think that the value of the mining company would be 30,000, right? Plus or minus whatever the price of the Bitcoin is, plus their gear. The problem is their gear is not really worth anything because the gear becomes old technology really, really fast. But if you look at the miner's actual valuation, the mining valuation is higher than the underlying asset that they hold. What's their underlying asset? The crypto. So why would you buy the miners? I know they're on a tear right now, but think about it the other way. When it does go down or it does slow down, those miners drop really, really fast. I could be right, it could be wrong, but think about it. You're buying miners for the underlying asset that they own. That's the value of the miners. But they're valued at much higher than the actual asset.
Is it dumb to buy Bitcoin in Robinhood?
No, I do it. So Bitcoin, there's 2 arguments, guys, in crypto. And by the way, if you guys become channel members and you guys have any questions about crypto, any crypto, it's not just Bitcoin and Ethereum. I know about most of the crypto in depth with the technology. I can go all day. Right now, it's not dumb to buy crypto on Robinhood if you believe in the capitalistic nature of Bitcoin. So if you want to actually use it for DeFi, decentralized finance, then Robinhood is bad because you don't actually own your crypto. They're holding it for you. But if all you care about, like Amit, is to make money on it, Robinhood is fantastic. And Robinhood is the best price to buy it at. They give you the lowest fee for the Bitcoin from what I saw. So no, Robinhood is fantastic. And they're going to track your buys and your sells. So when it comes to tax time, you don't have a nightmare if you're using DeFi. So no, it's not. I buy it on Robinhood as well, and others.
Okay. All right. I think that's it for us. Palantir at $16.78, Robinhood at $11.80, SoFi still at $9.11. It's a good green day in the markets. We'll see.
Nice.
But not a bad day at all. Pretty good. All right, that's it. Adam, thank you for being here. I'm going to put Adam's Twitter.
Thank you for having me on.
Let's.
I appreciate the entire Palantir community. Straight up, yo, you guys are awesome. Such a treat to be on this ride with you guys. Like, I speak to Ahmed on the phone and we say it all the time. Like, we're so happy to be part of the community and just be on this ride, this journey together. It's absolutely freaking amazing. I'm clapping, but you guys can't hear it, and that's okay. I got to get used to that. Yeah, it's so crazy. Guys, thank you so much to the entire community. We appreciate you so much. We really, really do. From the bottom of our hearts, we talk about it all the time. Like, we always say our channels would be nowhere without the community. We're not here for show. Like, we love you, motherfuckers.
No, we do. It's real. I mean, the ability to do this every morning, it means the world to me. It means the world to Adam. And whether you agree with what we say or not, the fact that you're here and you're willing to listen and give constructive criticism and just be part of the journey and know that we're going to keep it authentic with you, especially Adam, that means a lot. I want to give Adam one plug. His channel membership is $3 a month. Okay. I subscribed yesterday. It's really good exclusive content. His YouTube is in the chat right now for $3 a month, less than a cup of coffee. If you want to get personalized advice, personalized questions. I mean, he gets so excited anytime anyone asks him a question because he's like a teacher at heart. He loves just helping people. I would highly, highly recommend it. So 440 people here. Definitely check out.
If you guys have questions about, so I don't make the content because my main channel don't like it. But if you guys have questions about crypto and you guys are channel members, ask fucking anything, even how to use DeFi, like any protocols. I'll show you guys how to download a wallet, how to use it, how to use protocols, whatever. If you guys have questions about real estate, please feel free to ask. I'll talk to you guys about my own personal experiences, how to find deals, or whatever you guys want. Become channel members, buy me a cup of coffee, let's talk. I really do get excited. Please. It's fun.
Okay. There it is. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Appreciate it. We will see you guys tomorrow on another Market Open. Good night, everybody. Have a good one. Bye-bye.